Greetings, lovely people, and welcome to Fast Track Force. Today we're going to be talking about the first episode of Peacemaker, A Whole New World. I know it's taken a while for me to get to this. I'm excited, I'm interested. Let's just jump into it and roll the intro. Okay, I'm just going to say this now, even though, canonically in the timeline it's not actually here. But the intro sequence, the intro dance sequence, everyone's already seen it on Twitter or wherever else. Even if you haven't actually watched the show, I'd seen it, I just hadn't properly taken it in. It's amazing. It's awesome. I can't wait for it to be in Fortnite because it's going to happen. And I just think it's just a really funny intro sequence. It seems to show all the recurring characters. And, that actually gives me a lot of hope for who we can actually see in this. Obviously, there's no major returning characters from other DC properties unless you want to include some of the Task Force X, compatriots, the Amanda Waller compatriots. But, that intro sequence, I'm not going to mention it again unless it changes. But yeah, that's amazing. I really do love that. But getting into the actual episode, we start where we basically left off. We actually get a recap from the Suicide Squad, which obviously is where Peacemaker came from. And yeah, that's all right. I'm not going to go over the plot of that. I think I already did. I did a review. I don't know anymore. I'm pretty sure there's a review. It'll be linked below if there is. But yeah, continuing from that, Peacemaker is in a hospital, and as ever, he's self-obsessed. He wants to see his muscle definition and X-ray and stuff. And yeah, it's the characterization that I didn't really like in the Suicide Squad, but I wasn't expecting them to change it. I'm actually kind of happy that it stayed the same. But yeah, that leads to some basic nudity. It does get even more later, but some basic nudity from behind of Peacemaker when he's told that he can actually leave the hospital, and he just is stood there wearing nothing but a gown without the back tied up. And we have a little bit of a conversation about Aquaman. I don't really know why, but yeah, basically the janitor in the hallway likes Aquaman, and Peacemaker's like, well, I mean, you can fuck girls, you can fuck guys, but where I draw the line is fucking fish, and that's what Aquaman does. And it's like, it was basically a joke that Peacemaker couldn't care less if you're gay or straight or whatever, but he has an issue with zoophiles, which I mean, I think that's how all people should be. But yeah, it's a dumb joke. It's played for laughs, and it's a good joke. It's a good enough joke that I actually mentioned it, which is a rarity in Fast Track Thoughts. But yeah, we're then given a bit of a conversation just discussing how Peacemaker is kind of not on purpose, but he's kind of a racist killer. He kills more people that aren't white than he does that are white, even though statistically, white people probably commit more crime, especially in the US where, he's mostly based. And, that's pointed out to him, and he basically goes, okay, I'll look more into white crime, and I'll make sure I kill a large percentage of white people, which, once again, played off for laughs. I'm not going to dig deeper into the, socio-political meanings behind all that, because it's a joke. I'm gonna try my hardest throughout this series to not over-analyze every single joke because they're jokes, but it's me. I do a journalism degree that includes a lot of political discussion, so I'm going to break down some of this stuff way more than I should. But in any case, as I say, they have a conversation. Peacemaker and this janitor, whatever, that apparently they smoked weed together and stuff like that. Just some fun little backstory things. I'm sure that the janitor will probably actually come back later. He is in the intro sequence, so I'm sure he's in future episodes. But then Peacemaker is basically told, yeah, you can leave. He grabs his still bloody uniform, his outfit, his costume, and he leaves. But as he leaves, not only is he called, I didn't write it down, so I think he got called a douchebag, I'm pretty sure. But then a different member of hospital staff message a Mr. Burns saying that he's on the move. And that's the setup for the episode, which is pretty cool. We then go into two brand new characters. There's immediately a James Bond name drop because one of these characters is actually going to be one of the Black Ops members that's working technically for Waller. And I'll get into more about this specific character. I don't know names at this point. I haven't made a point of it. But these two characters that are brought in, they're a lesbian couple. Very nice, very good to see. In a show that, like, literally opens by being like, nah, I couldn't care less, like, what you are. Like, just don't fuck animals, basically. Like, it's good that they're actually, like, backing that up by showing, a lesbian couple. I'm sure there'll be gay couples and stuff like that throughout this, and there's actually a joke about how Peacemaker has been with men while in prison, which is a joke about prison itself, but also I'm not going to get into things. I'm just going to just read my notes. So there's I say James Bond name drop. There's a Sharknado joke. All just fun little things, and then we. I know I'm just jumping back and forth between characters right now, but it's the first episode. It's setting up a lot of stuff. Peacemaker lives in an America-themed trailer. Pretty cool. The taxi driver takes his helmet as payment, which is funny. I wonder if that taxi driver will ever come back. Maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. And his dad, has been calling him along with Vigilante, and we get to hear a bunch of voicemails from Vigilante, just basically just saying, like, just all random crap. It doesn't really matter at this point anyway. And we then are introduced to the main Black Ops team, which does include the previous character that I was on about. And we find out that Peacemaker was only 4 years into his 30-year sentence. So even with the Task Force X stuff, like, he did succeed, so that knocks off some time. I don't know whether he had 30 years in the Suicide Squad. I haven't gone back and checked, but presumably that 30 years is his total. He's been in prison for 4 years. Presumably some of that time has also been taken off because of his Suicide Squad mission. I don't know. But yeah, they do identify themselves as Black Ops, as a Black Ops group working under Waller. And there's a really cringe speech from that previous character that was introduced. And it's, once again, played for laughs. I don't like cringe humour. I've never been a fan of it. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of it because there's a lot in this episode. But yeah, cringe is not for me. And I didn't enjoy it, but I can deal with that to get to the actual stuff that I do enjoy about it. So yeah, there's a cringe speech, played for laughs, but I just didn't enjoy it. We get a few jokes about fighting Mothra because the operation is Operation Butterfly, just like how the Starro incident was Operation Starfish. That'd have been funny if it was Mothra. I was actually thinking that maybe it was, but no, they do clarify it's not. Peacemaker wants a jetpack because why not? He's basically told no jetpacks in a way that is very similar to the Incredibles' no capes. And we find out that he does actually still have the bomb in his neck from the events of the Suicide Squad. And that's all interesting. He's basically given a bit of time just to go see his dad. He goes to see his dad. His dad's watching Fact Attack, which is a knockoff of InfoWars, which is... I'd say it's funny if it wasn't just, in reality, so sad that InfoWars is, like, just everywhere now. I mean, we even, in the MCU, there's a knockoff version, because the Daily Bugle is basically InfoWars. But anyway, we find out that the sidekick of Peacemaker, called Eagly, is actually his pet bald eagle, which is really cool. Really, really cute. There's a scene that a lot of people I think have seen because it was in the trailers of Eagly actually hugging Peacemaker, which is really cool. And then we jump back to the Black Ops. They have a crappy HQ. It's leaking. There's noises coming from the pipes. All that, normal stuff. We jump back to Peacemaker. He's having food of some description with his dad, and they start absolutely, essentially dying of laughter, talking about how Bloodsport suffered rat torture as a child from his father that gave him a phobia of rats. Obviously, that's a plot point from the Suicide Squad. I don't. Once again, it's not my humor, but I mean, I can understand why people would find that funny. And basically, just find out through all the interactions between Peacemaker and his dad that he has daddy issues. Essentially, that's the main thing. He just has daddy issues. We then get brought into a high-tech Matrix weapon room type thing where it's big on the inside and all that. It's just wide open space. It goes on for miles, and that is just full of spare outfits and various different ability helmets. So obviously, the taxi driver took the regular helmet. So now, I guess Peacemaker has an entire arsenal of just various ones, and there are a few jokes about it. There's actually one that gets used in the episode I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, we get a brand new suit, or a clean suit. I suppose it's not really a changed suit, and a brand new helmet design, which is really interesting. And yeah, then the Black Ops and Peacemaker go and meet up for food and to discuss the mission. We're introduced to the alter ego of Vigilante, like the actual person who is Vigilante. He's the worst. I hate him. More cringe scenes with him. I'm not a fan so far of Vigilante. Not a character I'm familiar with from the comics or anything, so clean slate in my opinion. I could go either way with him. Currently not liking that character. And then after their meeting, Peacemaker and Hardcore, one of the Black Ops members, go to a bar. Well, rather, Peacemaker follows her to a bar, not specifically on purpose, but he ends up doing it in kind of a weird way, kind of a stalky way. And he says, "You can call me Chris." I forgot that was his name, honestly, but yeah. And she basically just says no. But also she's dealing with a load of catcallers and stuff at the bar, who she just beats one of them up, and Peacemaker very clearly falls for Hardcore. Like, hard. Like, there's slow-mo, there's visuals, there's like, it's exactly what you think, but Hardcore basically says no. Just no to anything, not wanting anything to do with Peacemaker, and she leaves just calling him Chris, which is fun. But then, someone across the bar gives Peacemaker the eyes, and there's a full nudity sex scene in this. Okay, cool. I mean, I don't really care. It's so funny because it was such a big thing when Eternals had a sex scene, but that's all like close-ups of like their faces and stuff, and it's just, compared to this, it's just, there's nothing. So it's like DC just have to one-up in this aspect. I don't know why. I don't know why that was the thing they decided they wanted to one-up. But anyway, I'm going to skip a bit in the chronology just to go over this. Peacemaker is a huge fan of cock rock, which, no surprise there. And then the person that he was, they gave him the eyes at the bar and stuff, tries to stab him, and he takes like 7 stabs, including like one straight to the hand without even flinching. The woman is a meta, presumably. We don't really find anything else about her, but she's definitely some level of superhuman. She screams a little bit, but she doesn't have like sonic waves or anything, so I don't really know what she is, who she is. I'd assume she's some sort of she's definitely a Wiccan, a meta, but I don't actually know what she is other than that. But there's a very long fight. It's not the most interesting, but it's a good fight. It's well choreographed, and it ends with Peacemaker using the sonic boom helmet to completely eviscerate her and also destroy his America car, which I think is actually his dad's, but it's absolutely destroyed. Eagly, who was in the car and flew away, catches a possum and just brings that back. And the episode just kind of ends with police en route as, Eagly and Peacemaker just kind of sit next to each other. So that's an ending. There's also a post-credit with the Scavy helmet. It's just a helmet that gives you Scavy, presumably just as a test of some description, or just a way to make yourself weaker for if you wanted to do that. I don't know. But that is episode 1 of Peacemaker, and yeah, I wasn't interested in this. I made it very clear in my discussions about the Suicide Squad that I didn't enjoy Peacemaker as a character. I love John Cena, don't get me wrong. Basically everything I've ever seen him in, I've enjoyed him in. And, even, I'm not that into wrestling. He's a good wrestler. I appreciate all the acting he does in that. That's good, like people. There was actually the thing that I skipped over. So, the character that we were introduced to at the start, the Black Ops member that's part of the lesbian relationship, I'm going to find out names for next episode. I'm going to write them down. But for now, she is actually Amanda Waller's daughter. And she's basically just acting as Waller's inside woman. And that's interesting enough, I guess. But yeah, that is the episode. And yeah, it's better than I expected. I wasn't interested. I wasn't actually going to watch this at all, especially with the fact that it's technically not available in the UK under like normal circumstances. I've been able to get through a VPN using HBO because that's basically the only way I can do it. Hopefully, at some point while I'm doing this series, it'll come to something that I can actually use, like Sky or Now TV or something, which is what most of the DC stuff comes to. But for now, it's not the easiest thing to deal with, and there's a lot of issues with watching it the way I'm watching it. But yeah, hopefully it continues to be good. This was a strong first episode. It felt a bit slow, a bit long maybe. But in any case, that's going to be it for this episode. So thanks for watching. If you did like it, make sure to like it, subscribe if you're new here, and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. I hope to see you next time, and yeah. Bye!